Hey guys, Halina here, and today I'm going to be reviewing Falcon and the Winter Soldier, so stay tuned. Alright, so Falcon and the Winter Soldier has concluded its first season, and I have some thoughts. First, I'm going to go through my non-spoiler thoughts before diving into spoilers, so that way if you haven't seen it yet, and you're maybe on the fence about checking it out, you can hear what I thought, sort of thing. And then decide, I guess. I don't know. But, yeah. Basically, first non-spoiler thoughts and then spoiler thoughts. So, my non-spoiler thoughts. So, basically, Falcon and the Winter Soldier follows Sam, the Falcon, and Bucky, the Winter Soldier, as they basically travel around the world trying to take out a threat. What that threat is, tune into the spoilers. But yeah, so basically they're trying to take out this threat, like this global threat. And yeah, unlike WandaVision though, Falcon and Winter Soldier feels very true to form for Marvel. Like, in many ways, I would say that the show works better as a binge rather than a week-to-week because, with WandaVision, there was a lot to theorize and speculate about where the show was going. Falcon and the Winter Soldier doesn't really have that. Most of the beginning of the episodes pick up somewhat around the same time as the previous episode ended, so you really can go through all 6 episodes, if you carve out enough time to watch it as a binge and sort of like as close to 6-hour, I guess, movie. Yeah, I think in many ways it works better as a binge, but I mean, week to week still works too, I guess. There is plenty of action. So, like, WandaVision barely had any action until the finale. Falcon and Winter Soldier, not like that at all. There is action in every single episode. So, if you've been missing the feel of the movies, Falcon and the Winter Soldier is definitely a recommended, watch. But if you are someone who enjoyed the break from the, typical Marvel form, Falcon and the Winter Soldier can be very tiring at times because very action heavy, very punchy fighty type thing. But there are still plenty of great moments in there. So I do recommend Marvel fans check out Falcon and the Winter Soldier because, I mean, it is true to form for Marvel, I guess, is what I can say. But, yeah. I did this with WandaVision, and I debated whether or not to do this with Falcon and Winter Soldier, but I'm going to anyway. So, how watchable is Falcon and Winter Soldier if you haven't seen any of the Marvel movies? Well, needless to say, I did the exact same thing I did with WandaVision, bringing my mom into it and showing her, and like, she hasn't seen a whole lot of Marvel movies, and she still hasn't seen a whole Marvel movie all the way through. So, yeah, I tested the experiment again. She needed a recap of Sam and Bucky for sure. But she was able to follow along pretty well. So, I think if you watch Marvel Legends, the Sam and Bucky and all the other episodes that they got, you could probably follow along pretty well with who these characters are and what their dynamics are, type thing. I mean, there were points where she needed me to be like, okay, why is this character doing what they're doing and who is this character and stuff like that. But overall, I mean, she figured it out. But I would say that because she's not like a Marvel movie watcher, I think she enjoyed it a little bit less than she did WandaVision, because Falcon and Winter Soldier feels very much like a Marvel movie. But, I mean, she did sit there and watch it, so there's that. What should you watch before Falcon and Winter Soldier? I mean, definitely watch Infinity War and Endgame. I mean, the show takes place after Endgame. There's, events in Endgame. For those that have seen Endgame, they know exactly what I'm talking about. That, set up the show. Yeah, I mean, Endgame is really the big part, but, I sit there and I pair Infinity War and Endgame together because watching one without the other is kind of bizarre. But, yeah. I would also say watch Civil War. Because Zemo, not really a spoiler because he was in the trailers and stuff like that, but Zemo, his whole, I guess, attitude towards everything really is delved into in Civil War. I would also say watch Captain America and the Winter Soldier. That's where Sam is introduced. And then you really get sort of a feel of his dynamic with Steve, which plays a big part in the show, I guess, and why things are playing out the way they are. Also, Bucky's in that one too, and he plays a very large role in the movie. So, yeah, Captain America Winter Soldier I would say watch too. And in many ways I would say watch Captain America First Avenger too, because, in Winter Soldier we really get the dynamic between Sam and Steve. But there is a history with Bucky and Steve as well, and that really kicks off in First Avenger and continues on throughout the rest of the movies. So I would say watch First Avenger, but I mean, it's not really a necessity. But I would say, like, it does help seeing both Sam and Bucky's relationship with Steve, and basically the importance of the legacy of the shield, because there's a legacy behind that shield, and really to get a total feel for all of it, watch all those. So you can also watch Black Panther. Not really a necessity. I would say probably like bottom tier necessity. Basically, the Wakandans, the characters in Black Panther, they helped with Bucky's deprogramming that he had with Hydra to become the Winter Soldier. So you get to learn a lot about them in Black Panther. So I would say watch Black Panther, but you don't necessarily have to. There's also a lot of references to Wakanda, and yeah. So, I mean, it would help, but it's definitely not a necessity. Yeah, so basically, I would say Infinity War Endgame, Captain America Civil War, Captain America Winter Soldier, Captain America First Avenger, and possibly Black Panther. Yeah, I mean, yeah, why not? Yeah. Now we're going to move into spoiler territory. So if you haven't seen the show, go watch it, come back here. Spoilers are going to be discussed. You have been warned. Okay. Everybody gone? All right. So I'm going to start with what I loved, because let's start on the positive. I loved the character moments. Like, seriously, I thrive with the character moments. So I went into the show liking Bucky, but, not necessarily a big, huge fan of Bucky, but liking him. But I didn't really care about Sam all that much. I felt like the movies didn't really flesh out Sam that much. So I didn't really necessarily care about him. I mean, I liked him. That's for sure. But definitely lower tier in terms of favorite Marvel heroes. But you know what? Throughout the show and all the character moments and the character beats that we did get, I fell more in love with Bucky, but like Sam really surprised me. Like he rose through the ranks to become like part of my like top tier, my top like 10 favorite Marvel heroes. Seriously, if you had asked me before the show whether that would even be possible, I would have said probably not. Like, but man, the show fleshing out these characters, I was able to fall in love with them. And like I said, Sam is the one that shocked me. Like, I was like, okay, I'm going into this, I like Bucky. Sam, I can take him or leave him. But like, Sam rose through the ranks so quickly because Sam is such a great character. In the movies, yes, but in this show, you really get to see Sam, and that just, it makes me so happy because I want to love Sam. I do, and now I do. But speaking of Sam and Bucky, another thing that I really loved was that the first episode did not have them together at all. Like, the show is called The Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So you would expect right out of the gate, there's only 6 episodes, so right out of the gate, we got to put them together and we got to, send them off and do their adventure. No, the whole first episode, they did not interact at all. We saw Sam's life and we saw Bucky's life. And I think really, like, sort of having them separate from each other and seeing where they're at in their journey, apart from each other was great. And then, of course, when we dive headfirst sort of into episode 2, where they're finally reunited, I'm like, okay, I like this. I like this. I like that we got to see them separate from each other before we got to see them together. Yeah. Another thing that I loved, and one of the reasons why I recommended Black Panther without spoiling it, I love the inclusion of the Dora Milaje. Like, seriously, they are so cool. Like, I think the logic of their reasoning for being there with, like, Zemo being free and all that, it made sense. Like, it makes sense that the Dora Milaje are going to show up because you guys broke out Zemo. And Zemo killed T'Chaka. And they're not happy. So, their reasoning for being there made sense. And while I do wish we got to see more of them, because, oh my gosh, I love them so much, I think they were used the right amount, honestly. Like, they came in, they did their thing, and they left. And I can appreciate that, even though I really, really, really wanted to see more of them. But honestly, when, like, because at first we see AO, and then the rest of them come in. And when they came in and they beat up John Walker, I was like cheering on the sidelines. I was like, yes! Because dude needed to be taken down a few hundred pegs. And just seeing the defeat on his face when he's like, they aren't even super soldiers. It's like, no, they're not. But they are still better than you. Yeah. I mean, he needed to be taken down a few hundred pegs. So, I'm glad the Dora Milaje was there to take him down those pegs. Because, oh boy. Another thing I absolutely loved was Isaiah Bradley. The inclusion of Isaiah Bradley, like, his story is so tragic. Oh my goodness. Like, I think every time Isaiah was on screen, I was, like, in tears. His inclusion in the series also adds to the complicated history of Captain America, the super soldiers, the shield. It added a whole other layer that I think really needed to be there. And honestly, in the finale, when like Sam brought him to the Captain America museum or whatever, and like showed him like, here, you are included in this history because you are an important part of this history. As much as I was crying, it made my heart so happy, because it's like, yes, we can't ignore history. And I really wish we got more of Isaiah. I really do, because I love him so much. Yeah. Now on to what I didn't love. There was quite a few things I didn't love. But I think right out of the gate, I didn't like the pacing. Like, it felt like because they had to have the requisite fight scene in every episode, the story itself didn't really progress all that much. Like, I mean, by the, like, penultimate episode, the second to last episode, we did not have any more answers than when we started. And it was like, okay, I feel like we need something. And then in the finale, it's like, here's all your answers. Like, you want to know who the power broker is? All right, fine, here. You want to know, you know, what the Flag Smashers are up to? I mean, I still don't know what they're up to, but, you know, they told us. You want the setup for the future? You got it. And it's like the finale felt like it was trying to do so much because the rest of the show didn't really progress forward. Yeah, so the pacing was just weird. Another thing I did not like, though, the Flag Smashers. Oh boy. Okay, so they started off strong. And that was great. I really enjoyed them. They were like super soldiers in their own right, and you know, they were a formidable foe. But then we kept going, and we, like, it was just, it got really, really tiring after a while. It was like, okay, like, when are we gonna be done with them? And honestly, about halfway through the show, I found myself just, like, tuning out of their scenes. Unless it involved Sam. Because Sam with Carly and their, like, communication, that was interesting. But the Flag Smashers by themselves, I was like, I know they had to be in the episode, but what did they do? Like, I don't know, I was hearing rumors circling around that, you know, the Flag Smasher plot had to be sort of retweaked because it involved a virus, and right now we don't want that. So, I mean, if that's the case, I guess I can give them a pass, but it felt like, who are the Flag Smashers? What are they trying to do? And they didn't, like, realistically, they didn't provide a big enough threat to justify breaking Zemo out of jail. I think that was the big thing I had an issue with, was like, we gotta break Zemo out of jail because the Flag Smashers exist. And it's like, but I feel like we can handle them without Zemo. So, like, I don't know. It's just, the Flag Smashers were weird all around. I was like, okay, fine. Another thing I did not like. Oh my goodness, I hate this so much. They killed Lamar. Now, I get that it needed to happen so that John Walker could, like, you know, snap. But Lamar was, like, the more likable character out of the two of them. And It's like, why did we kill Lamar? Like, Lamar, I got behind him. Like, he was cool. And then they went in and killed him. And I was like, it's like, I give up. Why? Why are we killing Lamar? Oh, I really wish we got to keep Lamar around. I really do. Another thing I didn't like. See, I told you there was a lot of things I didn't like about this show. Sharon being the power broker. The ominous power broker. The power broker is always watching. Who is the power broker? Sharon. Okay. So I get Sharon's hatred toward America and even maybe toward the Avengers. Like, I mean, yeah, I'd be upset too if I helped out Team Cap in Civil War and they all got pardoned and I was stuck on the run, not being able to contact my family. Adding on top of that it was shortly after Peggy's funeral, so when she should be surrounding herself with friends and family, she's isolated from everybody because she's got to peace out because she's an enemy of the state. But her reveal as the power broker, just bizarre. Like, what the heck was that? Like, it was obvious, that's for sure. Like, because who else would it be? Well, granted, I thought of a few other people it could have been. Realistically, when we look at this, Sharon was snapped in Infinity War. Her picture was amongst all those that were snapped. So she was snapped. How did she rise to power so quickly? It doesn't make sense. Like, surely, like, okay, if she rose to power after Civil War and she's on the run and that whole time in Civil War, Infinity War, surely somebody else would have come and stepped up to be power broker once Sharon was snapped, right? Like, I don't know. Okay. But I will look at it this way. Maybe Sharon wasn't snapped. Maybe she just, because she was on the run, nobody was getting a hold of her. You know, she was probably dodging everybody's calls or whatever. Like, I don't know. Maybe she wasn't snapped. And everybody just sort of thought she was because nobody could get a hold of her and nobody could find her. I don't know. I mean, I guess it's also possible that Sharon's a Skrull. We introduced Skrulls, like, I guess reintroduced them because they were introduced in Captain Marvel, but reintroduced them in WandaVision. Secret Invasion's coming up. You know, Skrulls are infiltrating all the higher up powers and everything like that. Maybe she's a Skrull. I don't know. But the thing is, they did not explain it. They did not explain how she was the power broker, why she was the power broker, any of that. And I should not have to be doing mental gymnastics to figure out how this is possible. I just feel like we could have had Thaddeus Ross be the power broker, or Contessa Valentina Allegra de Fontaine. Yeah, we could have had her be the power broker. And we could have had Sharon be Muscle for the power broker. You know, a right-hand woman to the power broker. I don't know. The fact that Sharon's the power broker, it just didn't make sense. And it's like, I wanted this show to do better by Sharon. This show did worse by Sharon. And I'm just like, why? Why? Oh, so many mental gymnastics trying to figure out how Sharon's the power broker. But, you know, it is what it is, I guess. I guess the last thing I had a problem with was the cutting away from Bucky admitting to Yori that he was the one who killed his son. Like, I wanted to see how that conversation went. We got, like, the beginning stages of the conversation. I don't think we got the entire conversation. I wanted that. Like, we got Bucky admitting it, saying that he didn't have a choice. And then cut to next scene. And it's like, okay, this show was really focused, I think, more on Sam, which is understandable. Like, he's sort of reinventing himself. Like, he was the Falcon, now he's Captain America. But Bucky was the other titular character in this. And this moment, this was the moment his arc was building up to. And we didn't get the whole conversation. And it's like, we went through the motions with Sam. And that's great. I love that. I truly do. But we did not get that same payoff with Bucky and his arc. I don't know. I wish we had more conversation, more time to sit in that. It seems like Bucky lost Yori as a friend when he was walking by the restaurant and looks inside and doesn't go in. Maybe they're not, maybe Yori was like, get out of my house, get away from me, I don't want to see you. Understandable reaction from him, obviously, but we don't even know how that whole situation ended and how it played out. Like, we have to assume, and I don't want to assume. I want answers. I don't know. I feel like Bucky, his arc did not complete the way that I wanted it to. While Sam's 100% completed the way that I wanted it to. So that's sort of what I liked and what I didn't like. In conclusion, I guess, I enjoyed parts of Falcon and Winter Soldier, but overall, I wasn't excited to watch it weekly, and like I said, I found myself loving moments more than the episodes themselves. Like, there were plenty of moments in each and every single episode where I'm like, this is such a great moment. But then looking at the episode as a whole, I'm like, but it was kind of a weak episode. And look, I don't mind the big action scenes in movies. I think it needs to happen. I think it's necessary for it to happen. But in the shows, I really wanted more diving into the characters and everybody's motivations for doing what they were doing. WandaVision did that. Falcon and Winter Soldier didn't really do that. I don't know. I feel like with shows, you have such an opportunity to dive into these characters and make them just flesh them out in a way that you can't necessarily do in a movie. And I just feel like at least one fight in every single episode was maybe too many fights. But I don't know. Let me know. What did you guys think of Falcon and Winter Soldier? Did you enjoy it? Did you not? Really curious to hear all your thoughts. So let me know in the comments down below. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Click the notification bell so you can be notified when I upload my latest videos. You can check out more Marvel content by clicking here. You can check out more reviews by clicking here. Follow all my socials. The link is in the description down below. And I will see you all in another video. Bye, guys.